Hi, everyone. My name is Sura. I'm a meditation coach and trainer. Today, talking about 7 fear-based beliefs that keep us from fully resting, that keep us from doing nothing. As a society, we're taught that we're valuable when we're doing, when we're producing, when we're creating, when we're of service. And to let go of all of that, to stop and do nothing, which means allowing ourselves to rest, take a nap, meditate, is actually a reversal in all of the conditioning and energy that we've been taught. And that actually there are unconscious beliefs that can keep us from going deeper into meditation, from really sinking into our ability to receive full benefit from restful practices. And restful practices are important. Why? Because so many people are not able to get good rest and sleep. At least 30% of the American population has issues sleeping, and almost 70% have issues sleeping at least once a week. And if we don't get that good sleep, which actually comes from being able to rest our mind during the day, when our mind is agitated all the time and going really fast, because that agitation comes with our movements. The faster we're moving, the more we're doing, the more agitation there is. And what ends up happening is that people aren't able to shift gears from going 100 miles per hour and shifting back and slowing down, so that now the body can turn on the relaxation response, and the body says, oh, it's safe to let go. It's safe for me to rest and eliminate toxins and to return back to balance. And so when we don't have that reset, then we become exhausted, we become chronically fatigued, we get irritated really easily, angry over things that we normally don't get angry over, because our nerves are shot. In this book that I really love and recommend, it's called The Power of Full Engagement. They study the behaviors of top Olympic athletes, and they've shown consistently that what separates a top Olympic athlete from the next level athlete, a B-level athlete, is their ability to take rest. Top athletes always took rest. They would train, but that they would always let themselves recover from their training. And they would even do this when they were in sport. If they were a tennis player, they took time in between sets. They would, dribble the ball before they would serve. And they took that time for themselves to come back down, to come back to zero. And that's what increases performance, is when we learn this skill of learning how to come back to zero, rebalance, and reset our energy. And it's so important for meditation and going deep into our meditation practice, because people are so exhausted, they often fall asleep when they meditate because they're sleep deprived. They're not getting good rest. So it doesn't matter if you get 15 hours of sleep, you might wake up and still feel exhausted. So I'm going to share with you these 7 beliefs of what actually keeps us from feeling safe and doing nothing. So one of the things that really lights people up, that makes them feel deeply uncomfortable, is the prospect of being alone with themselves, with their thoughts, with their feelings. This is meditation. You're letting go. You're choosing not to do and go, 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 go. You're choosing to release all efforts, all sense of doing, achievement, going, producing, you're releasing all of that, and you're now cultivating a completely different energy, a yin based energy. So you're moving from yang, which is all the action, to yin, complete non doing, receptivity, and being. So, in order to move into that space, we need to become aware at a deeper level the emotions, the beliefs, and thoughts that keep us from going into that space. So, what often ends up happening is that people won't meditate and they won't do practices like slow, gentle yoga or qigong because they're so nervous and restless and agitated, and they don't take time to examine that agitation. They just keep going. Busybody, 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 from here to there to there, schedule booked all the way through, because they're so, actually, there's an insecurity that's running them on a deeper level, but they don't take time to examine, why are they running so fast? Where are they going? And though all of that energy needs to be looked at. And that's the opportunity in meditation, because that kind of energy is anxiety in action, fear in action. It's not coming from a really deep and centered, grounded place. It's coming from, I need to fill up the space. I need to be doing something. I need to be consuming. I need to be reading. I need to be watching TV. I need to be, and there's like an energy that comes with that. So I see a lot of people that engage in this, and they don't even realize that that is how some people have an awareness of it, of their constant need to be busy or productive or useful. Because again, we've been taught from Protestant work ethic that we need to be doing something in order to be valued. So is there value in doing nothing? Is there value in resting and just meditating and being? And yes, there is profound value. If you really want to progress, the way to progress inwardly, spiritually, personally, is to go within, to slow down, to stop, and to be still. And that's the way we can really begin to progress and raise our consciousness, raise our awareness. So this is a great opportunity because we've been pulled out of all the automatic doing. Everybody's being pulled out of their automatic way of life, of all the distractions, all the places we can go. Now there's no non-essential activity. So this is such a great opportunity, this space that we've been given, the isolation, because from the space we can start to receive clarity and focus. We can pull all our energies inward and gather them and focus them like a laser. So this is a great time to think about what's really important, how you want to be engaging your energies, to learn how to meditate, to really take time to rest. So let's look at some of these fear-based beliefs. The first one is, I'm not enough. And I'm certainly not enough when I'm doing absolutely nothing. For us to really receive the benefit from rest and meditation, it's important that we have strong self-esteem and confidence that just because I go from doing to not doing doesn't mean that I'm any less or any less valuable. I'm still enough. It's okay for me to do nothing. So oftentimes when people are meditating, they think it's not enough and they're not getting anything from it. And it's actually that belief and that attitude that keeps them from really going deeper or starting a meditation practice, is that feeling I'm not enough. And it's that belief I'm not enough that causes people to keep going, proving, performing, achieving, because you're always trying to fulfill some enoughness. So be aware of when you're acting because you're trying to make yourself enough, or if you're willing to be enough, through simply being and resting. So that's the first fear-based belief, is thinking I'm only valued when I'm doing something. The second one is guilt. It's easy to feel guilty when you start to experience a lot of pleasure from doing absolutely nothing. It's possible through meditation to begin receiving energy, a blissful, peaceful energy, and it's pleasurable. You can enjoy your practice. And there is a guilt that can come with that. Like, here I am doing nothing when I should be doing something. And it's easy to guilt trip yourself into thinking that I should be doing something better with my time. So that's the second fear-based belief. Number 3, if I let go and let go of control and do absolutely nothing and withdraw all of my attention from all the places and people that I've given it to, my projects, my this, my that, then the world's going to fall apart in my absence. So I need to be there with everybody else, externally, so that things go smoothly, so that things happen. So there's another belief that thinks if I really let go into my own space, my own center of peace, then chaos is going to happen. Something bad's going to happen because I release control over the external things I'm focused on: people, projects, work, places. So there's that belief, the need to control. The fourth one is the fear of being lazy. If I really let go into this, if I really let myself enjoy doing nothing, then I'm going to become a lazy couch potato. And that's all I'm going to be in life, is a lazy couch potato. And that fear of being lazy, of being perceived as lazy, is also related to that fear of you're not valuable and you're not lovable if you're lazy. And once I'm lazy, I won't be able to pull myself out of being lazy. So there's a lot of fear of being lazy. And I'm going to also share a little bit later about how to pull ourselves out of these beliefs. Number 5, the need to prove. We have a constant need to prove our sense of self-worth. That relates to the first one, I'm not enough. But there is this proving energy that has been reinforced through our upbringing, because oftentimes we were rewarded when we did something our parents liked, and we were punished if we did something they disapproved of. And so we've been taught this whole way of life externally of, this is what it means to be loved. When I do something right, when I do something good, when I do something useful, that's when I'm loved. I'm not loved when I'm doing nothing. I'm not worthy to doing nothing. To exist, I have to keep proving myself. I have to work for my existence. I have to work for love. I have to work for acceptance. So there's those deep underlying currents that I need to be doing something in order to actually enjoy doing nothing. So there is that belief that in order for me to relax, I need to have this much money in the bank. I need to make sure everything in my life is perfect. I need to have achieved a certain level in my life, and then I can relax and have peace. So you're always forfeiting rest because you need to get something else done. So that's what that has to do with. Not being deserving of rest, not feeling worthy of rest. And number 6 is the space to feel, the fear of feeling, the fear of feeling you and all that you feel. Meaning that when we sit in meditation, we begin to feel all of that restlessness, that angst, that anxiety starts to get even more because we're still. When you're still, you become, your awareness becomes heightened. And the reason why people are so distracted and they're so engaged in busyness is because they're afraid to feel their feelings. Anxiety is actually a mask, it's a symptom, it's a cover for deeper, unfelt emotions, uncomfortable emotions like stress, like grief, like anger or jealousy. So when we don't allow ourselves to feel those deeper, darker emotions as a human being, because we're trying to be perfect and we're trying to be good and we're trying to look good, when we try to put a cap on that by constantly doing so we don't have to deal with the reality of how we feel, we keep ourselves from releasing that stress, tension, those underlying feelings. And it actually takes a ton of energy to keep a cap on that. It takes a ton of held energy. Think about holding your fist like this for a really long time. And then through rest and meditation, just being able to release your muscles, release the tension. And there's exhaustion that comes with that because it's exhausting to try to keep up all the time. You know, what are you keeping up with? Who are you keeping up with? What society says you need to be? What your friends, your family, other people? Why are you running? And that's very important to look at. So letting yourself feel those deeper, uncomfortable feelings. And then lastly, the last fear-based belief is the fear of change and the fear of transformation. When you let yourself rest and recover, return to balance, you come back a new person. You're a new person. Your ego has less hold. Your energy, your life force energy begins to flow through you, that aliveness, that radiance, that health. And there is a change that comes every time you sit or rest. You feel more like yourself. You become more whole, more you, more energetic. And it's so important to get good rest because it's necessary for our health. It's necessary for our well-being. And it restores us. It helps us to feel light. It helps us not to take life seriously. It gives us energy. There's all these benefits to receiving rest. But the biggest one is that it's healthy for you. It's good for you. So it's important to look most especially at your self-worth when it comes to getting good rest, that you feel worthy of getting good rest, even when you're doing nothing or when you haven't achieved a bunch of things or haven't proven yourself, that it's okay for you to let go. It's okay for you to do nothing and to take up that space, to just be without agenda, without having to accomplish anything. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what you can do for getting good rest and rejuvenation. One great way is to have a guide or a coach, somebody who's actively working with you, training you to develop this muscle of rest, meditation, ease. When you have a guide and you focus your attention more readily, it helps you to shift into that receptive position. So having someone next to you, like a meditation coach, a guide, or a teacher. You can also listen to meditations. You can listen to hypnosis. You can listen to guided healing for free on YouTube. You can just Google in what you need, muscle relaxation, and you can, whenever you're in the receiving position, because you have a guide, it's easier to let go. When it's just you in your own mind and you're trying to relax, it can be harder. But when you're listening and you're being guided, it can be much easier to enter that state of relaxation. And then lastly, you can practice in a group. So one of my favorite practices is restorative yoga. I also love Qigong. So restorative yoga and Qigong promote the yin energy. We need both yin, feminine, and masculine yang energy. Even when you're exercising, it helps to get your heart rate up, but it also helps to learn how to calm down. Restorative yoga puts you into the state. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the relaxation response, and tells your body it's okay to let go, eliminate toxins, return to homeostasis. So restorative yoga, where you're just laying on some props and just letting your body relax and stretch open naturally by laying on props, is a great way. Being guided by a teacher in a group. Right now, we can't do that physically. You could do it online. You can also practice Qigong online. So those are some ways that you can begin to really enter deep rest for yourself by practicing actively and valuing actively getting rest, having that sanctuary, peaceful time of non-doing for yourself.